Alright, I want to show everyone here a couple of new mods that I did to my Livescope ice kit. A few issues, alright, so I'm going to start here with the transducer. I put a spacer in here. Anyone that's been running this stock Garmin pole here, the mount that they give you that comes for, say, putting it on your trolling motor, it's going to have like an 8-degree tilt to it, right, as you mount it on there. And I believe that the reason they do that is so that when you put it onto your trolling motor, it shoots down past the actual head of the motor that's on the bottom of your trolling motor, and you don't catch that interference from the motor. Well, for us, when we're fishing, if you're in kind of shallow water and you have it in there, when your jig is off to one side, now that transducer is at a tilt. And if it's tilted, you're losing some of the picture on to the side where it's tilted out from. So what I did was I used a 1-inch PVC coupling. And what you're going to want to do, you have to make sure it's a 1-inch, because the inside here you're going to have a peg where this would originally mount to that, and you're using this as a spacer to go over it to take out the taper. Now what I did was I cut this at 1/2 inch, and it makes it so that once you tighten this piece back on here, it will still engage into the mechanism that allows it to ratchet when you click it, but not a whole lot of, it's hard to do this with my phone here, but it allows it to still ratchet into its original clicks. So that's the one mod that I made. That makes a big difference as far as seeing your jig. The other thing is, some of you might notice, when you originally put this thing together, this part of the pole is sloppy as can be. There's at least a 1/4 inch gap in here from factory. And it doesn't seem like a big deal, but when you're trying to jig, or you're really trying to study, the under the water when you're out actually fishing, any little movement in there when this thing's rocking around is making a difference. You might think that something's moving and it's actually not. So what I did was I ran up to True Value and I got these, they're called machine bushings. And what those are, I got the size here, it's 1.25 inches by 1 7/8 inches. So the inside diameter of that bushing has to be 1.25 inches, and then the outer diameter is 1 7/8 inches. Doesn't make that big of a difference for the outer diameter. Now it takes 2 of these to make this happen. I put one on the bottom, one on the top. And that tightens this up tremendously so that your whole transducer is not going to be rocking side to side in the water. The other thing I did that I was noticing when you're on the ice is that you'll have this thing set in your hole, and the cord, this is a stiff cord, is running around, and the cord, you try to get it to where you aimed where you want to go, and then the cord turns it back away from you, and you keep on playing this game with it. So what I did was I went, again, True Value, and I bought this little thumb screw. This is a 1032 thumb screw, and I don't exactly know the length of it. If you go to get it one, you're just going to have to make sure that it goes from, this, and it goes into where it's going to contact this pole. And I drilled a hole, and I threaded it, I tapped it for this little thumb screw, so that all you have to do is, you tighten this down a little bit, and it takes all that movement right out of it. It locks it down, and then you can just loosen it up and easily turn it again. Now, one thing to be careful of, this is hollow. This is 2 pieces in here, technically. So when you drill this hole in here, what you're going to do is clamp it together, drill your hole through. It's actually the outside part of it's thinner than the inside of the hole. Around the actual, where this goes through, is thicker plastic. So then just tap it all the way through there, run your thumb screw in, and you can lock it down. It takes all the slop out and makes it much, much more secure when you're out on the ice. Have a good one. We'll see you next time.